Hi guys, welcome back to Pavonine Studios Beauty and Art. My name is Amy. If you haven't been here before, thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to play with a new palette today. I was in Sephora the other day returning something, and I never just return something. I always end up picking something up, either something I remember I needed or just something fun. So I picked up the Violet Voss Sakura palette. I was intrigued enough that I wanted to go ahead and pick that up, give it a try. This is my second Violet Voss palette, and I like the other one that I have, although it's got a few too many pressed glitters for my taste. Although I love pressed glitter, I love glitter in general, but it was just, you know, I didn't really need 7 or 8 more of them. There are a few in here that are quite glittery, but there are no specifically pressed glitters. I am going to prime my eyes today with the Anastasia primer because it is what I have handy to me. We are going to just jump right in because I have a few things that I need to do today. I need to go to the grocery store, pick up a prescription. I need to go buy Ulta and pick up my Clinique cleansing balm because I'm almost out, and so, you know, there's that. I am going to put a little bit of the color Blossom on my brow bone, so from crease up to brow bone, just to have a little something there to blend in the colors. And because I'm wearing a gold shirt today, I am going to go into my Be Perfect palette first because I want to use the color Clay, which is my favorite color in the whole palette, at least so far. And it's just this really yummy sort of gold, baby poo gold. I don't know what else to call it, but I'm going to put that in the upper crease and almost up to the brow bone because I'm going to go for, obviously this is a very pink palette, and so I'm going to go for kind of a pink gold, a little bit of brown. We'll see how the brown in this palette is, if it's dark enough to feel like I can deepen up whatever look I decide to do, or if it is not quite adequate and I have to bring in something else. I am filming this on Sunday, October 4th. I filmed a video earlier, or last week sometime, that I've been working on, and I don't think I'm going to upload a Mix It Monday this week. I'm sorry about that. Those of you who are fans of the Mix It Monday series, it will be back next week, I promise. I have a few things coming this week that I want to try some new stuff. I got a few things from Danessa Myricks, and so I'm excited about giving those a try. Those are supposed to get here tomorrow, I believe. So that will be fun to try those. I also have, I must be out of my mind, especially given the video that I've been working on editing and planning to upload on Monday the 5th, which is a long one. So if you haven't seen it, it will go up before this one, and I will link it above in case you want to check it out, because it's not really makeup focused exactly, although I use some new products in it, and so, you know, if you're here for the makeup, then that's still going to be part of that video, but mostly it's talking about my goals as a YouTube channel, my personal goals, just as a person. It was one of those things that I just sort of on the fly filmed off the top of my head, hoping that, you know, it would amount to something, that it would actually make enough sense that I could put it up. It's a very sort of, I don't know, kind of a personal video, a little bit, what would you call it, analytical, philosophical. I'm going to zoom in just a touch so that you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. That was the color Spring. So obviously it's a pink color in the pan for sure, but when I put it over that yellow, it definitely turned more peachy orange, and I knew that. I knew that was going to happen, so it's all good. I am going to pick up the color Wild, and I don't really have a plan here. I'm just playing with colors. And this is like probably the darkest bright pink in the palette. Violet Voss has a newer palette than this. I'm not sure what it's called. I'll try to remember to insert a picture or at least a name of it. It's kind of a rainbow palette. So I feel like that was probably one of those delayed releases, given the situation that we're all kind of in, and the fact that a lot of brands have been kind of, I don't know, probably struggling a little bit with releases not coming out on time because of, you know, the pandemic and all that. So these are blending really, really nice. I'm just gonna take a smaller brush and go back into that Wild color and see if I can deepen this up a little bit more strategically. I am going to go into the color Festival, which is the darkest sort of plummy shade in here. So I'm not totally blown away with that as far as the deepness of it. Let me pick up a kind of a flat natural hair brush. This is from Beauty Junkies, I believe. Well, it's really pretty and it's not blending away, but it is not as dark as I was hoping it would be. That kind of thing is a blessing and a curse. I kind of like something that is more dark than you might think it will be, but that will sheer out nicely if you need to do that. So I don't, you know, this is not bad. It's blending nice, but not blending away, at least so far. So that is a good thing. I am going to pick up I'm going to use that same brush. I'm going to pick up the color Season, which is the dark brown. We'll see. We'll see if I can get any more depth out here in the outer corner. Now keep in mind, I'm layering this over that Festival color. And so this may be more brown when used on its own. One would assume that it would be more brown when used on its own. Pretty, not as dark as I'd like for it to be. So I may bring in a dark brown from something else. I'm not sure. Probably my Melt palette, because that seems to be the thing that I reach for the most as far as darkening things up. There's a little bit of fallout from that dark brown, but not bad, not alarming or anything. I'm just softly blending that outer edge of it. There are so many pretty like shimmers and stuff in this palette that I don't even know what I want to do. What I do know is that I'm going to put on some glitter primer. I'm going to use the NYX one today. I'm going to go into the color Full Bloom. I'm going to try to pick this up on my brush. We'll see how it goes. Let me try my finger. That is often the case with these kinds of colors, that your finger is the better tool in general, at least for that initial laydown. It's really a pretty color, for sure. I don't love using my fingers because of my fingernails, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right? That's a really nice color. So I'm gonna pick that up and I'm gonna spray it with, I would spray it with, oh there it is. I'm gonna spray it with some Fix Plus and see if I, you know, get good payoff that way. can kind of feel the little particles falling down onto my face. So this does have a little bit of fallout. Not super unusual for this sort of color. And without any extra product, I'm just going to kind of start tapping from that glittery shade out to the edges a little bit. And I'm going to go back in with that one of those colors. Maybe I'll just go back in with Festival and kind of deepen that outer part a little bit. Yeah, that's really pretty. Let's see, do I feel like I need to darken that outer part up a little bit? I think I will, just because that's what I like to do. And yeah, I definitely see some glitter on my cheek area and stuff, but that's all right. We're gonna fix that up. I am picking up, that's the same brush, and I'm just gonna pick up a little tiny bit of this darkest brown in the Melt Rust palette. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that down, and then I will blend it out. You can see I got a little bit on my my glitter glue there, which I didn't quite cover up with glitter. Okay, so that's no fault of the shadows, either one of them. That's me not being more careful. I'm gonna go back into, because that looks pretty bad. I am going to go back into Festival, and we're gonna go over that and see if I can just tone that down a little bit, and then maybe I'll go back with a little bit of the glitter just to kind of, I don't know, put a little more down, see if I can. Now I kind of like that little sort of pink spot there where I didn't put any of the melt shadow. Let me go back into that glitter, and well, I don't think there's much I can do about this, guys, which of course sucks because this does not show off the palette in the, you know, in the best way. So I have a couple of options here, and because I've got this kind of dark spot, I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take the color Mar from that same Melt palette, and we're just gonna put that in the crease and kind of, we're gonna pretend that this is the effect that I wanted originally. Okay, now I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that darkest brown from the Melt palette, and we're gonna go into that crease. Basically, I'm just trying to cover up my mistake here. I'm going to clean up just a little bit. I'm going to tight line with the Color Pop gel liner in the color Mr. Bing. What I should do before I go any further is go put some eye drops in my eyes because they are super irritated and red today. Fall allergies. I am going to do my wing today with the Physicians Formula liquid liner, and this is the brown shade, deep brown. Clean this one up just a little bit, got a little wild there. All right, I am going to put on the rest of my makeup, and I will come back and give you some final thoughts on the Violet Voss Sakura palette. And yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, I am back, and I've got the rest of my makeup on clearly. Let me just share with you real quick what I put on the rest of my face. For my lips, let's go ahead and start with that. I used the lip liner from Rimmel and Innocent. I used the Natasha Denona lipstick in the color Natasha, which is a matte, and I went over that with the Coffee Cat lip gloss from Wet n Wild. I lined my waterline with the cream gel liner from ColourPop in the color Punch. For my bronzer, I used the Maybelline City Bronzer in the shade 100. For my blush, I used the Jouer Blush Duo, and I just swirled both of these colors together. This is the Darling Blush Duo. And for my highlight, I got out my Too Faced Candlelight Glow. Do they even make this anymore? The Too Faced Candlelight Glow. So it's kind of a champagne-y and pink half and half kind of thing, and I just sort of swirled those colors together. It's a pretty highlight. I don't know if they still make that or not. They should if they don't. I think that's everything that I put on my face that was, you know, potentially different than every other time I do my face. So for the eyeshadow, I am liking it. I'm wishing that I hadn't used the glitter glue to put under the glitter shade that I used. Mostly because I can see it. Nobody else is going to be able to see it probably. Well, maybe you, but you know, the places where it kind of stuck a little bit more when I went in with that melt eyeshadow right here. You know, I probably should have just went in with the shade by itself, or maybe wet it with my brush and stuff, and just to see how it went on and holds up over the rest of the day. You know, I don't know, but I didn't do that, so we're gonna see how it looks at the end of the day. I will do a check-in as far as blendability and, you know, intensity and all that. I don't have any complaints with this eyeshadow palette. I really liked it. I liked the colors that I used. I'm pretty excited to use some of these other colors. This one that's called Petals is really pretty. It's super intense, and I don't know, it's a really pretty color, but I didn't do that today, so you know, we'll see. But isn't that pretty? It's got kind of a blue, I don't know, shift or undertone or something to it, which is part of the reason why I didn't use it today, because I was like, well, I'm kind of going more for the pink and gold thing, so we'll save that for another time. But you know, I didn't have any issues with the blending of the pinks that I did choose. I did go under my eyes with those two matte pinks that I used up above. Spring and Wild were the two colors that I used, and then I put a little bit of the darkest brown in the palette, which is called Season, on the outer edge. It didn't really do a lot as far as deepening up. That's my one criticism, I guess, of this palette, is that I wish the two dark matte shades were darker / more intense, but it's not as if I don't have other things in my collection that I can bring into this palette like I did today to deepen things up a little bit. So overall, right now, I'm satisfied. We'll see if anything, you know, goes south, creases, fades away, anything like that. I will be sure and let you know. Okay, so I am back for a little bit of check-in for this eyeshadow, the Violet Voss Sakura palette, and I feel like I don't have the same lights on that I did earlier. Something's different, not sure what, but I like this palette. I'm kind of excited to wear it again. Now remember, I did put some shadows from the Be Perfect in my crease, or a shadow from the Be Perfect palette in my crease, and some Melt Cosmetics from the Rust palette. I don't know if I said that before. The Rust palette in sort of the outer portion of my eyes in order to deepen it up, because that is my one complaint, if you will, from this palette, is that the two dark mattes are not dark enough for me. But you know, everything has held on really well. That eyeliner that I used, the ColourPop one, it's still there. I'm kind of digging these ColourPop eyeliners. And the glitter is on my eyes and it's not on my face, so I really appreciate that. I had no problems blending these. The colors that I put underneath my eyes are also still there. That can tend to be one of those places that sort of wears away and disappears over the course of the day, and it hasn't done that. This has been on my eyes for about 6 hours or so. not a super long time, but long enough for me to tell that, you know, things are going fine, and it hasn't gone downhill or anything like that. I'm not detecting any kind of creasing or anything like that, so that's a good thing. And next time I will be more careful with my glitter primer if I use that, because yeah, because of the situation that we had in this crease up here, which has not gotten any worse, but of course it's not gotten any better. And I think I am not going to go on too long about that, but I just wanted to pop in and give you kind of a little update on the Violet Voss Sakura palette. I think I could recommend this one. I do want to say real quickly, after I put this on my eyes, I was thinking, I wonder if I have other things that would compare. And the only thing that I can think of, and I didn't pull it out here, but is the Venus XL, I think that's what it's called, palette from Lime Crime. That's quite a pink palette, and some of the colors in it, the dark ones, are a little bit darker. That's far from a perfect palette as well, in my opinion, although I do like it and I do wear it from time to time. And I think I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today while I played with this new palette. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. I love comments. Let me know if there's, you know, any questions you have or anything that you'd like to see in the future. I am totally open to anything that y'all might suggest. I'm going to leave it there though, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.